A Donkey Kong Missile Command Conspiracy, Part 1 of 6. My name is Roy, Mr. Awesome Shildt from the King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters. Here is the 2008 Guinness Book of World Records Gamers Edition, where Tony Temple's 1.9 missile command score on page 245, achieved on the invalid fast cursor 4-inch trackball, was listed as better than my 1.6 million point missile command score achieved on the correct slow cursor 4-inch trackball back in 1985. Now, I was the one who told the Guinness editors to give Temple the top spot as a show of good sportsmanship. Back in 1985, I could have used a point leaching technique where you drop to one sitting near the middle base while below 100,000 points, and then you fan out the missiles from one side base every round to protect the center and ride the score up on low quality play. Now, this would result in a point total less than 1 million points at the end of 100 rounds. Temple's score better than mine in the 2008 edition right here had absolutely nothing to do with the ridiculous player's choice for trackball speed on tournament missile command scores you see concocted on the Twin Galaxies website today. They continue this insanity to protect themselves from Robert Merzak's gross stupidity, who should have never accepted Temple's score in the first place. Merzak then lied to Guinness World Records Marco Fragati and said that Temple's score was achieved on the slow cursor trackball setting just to get it published. Now, I spoke to Walter Day at E4All in October 2008 and agreed to have my 1.6 million 1985 score reinstated as unknown trackball if and only if Walter had physical evidence of player's choice, and then I would simply replay the score in its entirety. I figured I'd be a nice guy, give Walter a chance to redeem himself, and alleviate the legal problem with Guinness World Records. Instead, Walter Day, Temple, and the rest of his idiots try to fabricate a story where they claim I can't remember what trackball setting I played on in 1985, which is ridiculous. Walter Day had not any evidence of player's choice, and here he is jackassing himself again in Washington, June of 2009, when I caught up to him.
Okay, turn the camera on. Okay, I, Walter Day, am officially verifying that Roy has the game set on tournament settings, so there'll be no extra cities, and he's playing on the on setting for the
slow cursor.
The slow cursor
okay,
setting.
Let's take a look. Yeah, we're looking at this.
Okay.
Now, it says here that settings have been amended March 10th, 2008 to indicate dip switch number 4 is entirely the player's choice. Do you have any physical evidence that should be player's choice? Didn't Atari say that the setting for the 4-inch should be the slow and the setting for the small trackball should be on, right?
Atari issued 2 different manuals. One said on, one said off. And other than that, they never made a statement.
They never said anything?
Never to us.
Then where are you coming with player's choice from? You have no physical evidence whatsoever of player's choice?
Well, our player's choice is that there's a heritage, there's a legacy now of games having been played on, games having been played on off. And
but you have no physical...
Let me talk.
All right.
Games played on. The manual, the video game was issued with a manual that said 4 is on, and then it was issued with a 4 is off.
Right.
And both of those were distributed widely. So people played them on, people played them on off. They were both factory releases. They were both factory recommendations. Who knows what they may have intended, but what actually happened was that games got distributed on, games got distributed on off, and people played them that way. All the scores got merged together.
But there was a manual for the small trackball that said on for the small trackball. That would be the slow for the small trackball, makes the game unplayable. Hasn't it been established that those manuals were typographical errors due to the fact that they had the on for the slow and the off for the 4-inch at the same time? That clearly indicates.
You're wanting to debate that right now.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, because you claimed in the past that you had physical evidence of player's choice. Wasn't there some?
No. It's our determination that it's player's choice, because all the scores are already merged together from the golden age, and we can't separate them because we don't know who did it on, we don't know who did it on off. So they're all merged together. And we're going to continue that. That's why it's being continued. But you can play it on.
Yeah, but isn't this the The scribblings that you had on the player's manual back in 1985 that you were claiming as physical evidence that you had player's choice.
We never issued any statements on this.
Well, that's what you told. That's what Robert Merzek said in the forums, and that's what you told Guinness. You said that was physical evidence of player's choice.
We never said anything to Guinness.
Well,
is the board verified? Did you get the dip switches where you want?
You're playing.
Well, you told me you had physical evidence back in October. Why are you changing your mind now? Isn't this what you were saying? Is this your evidence of player's choice? Because that's what you said back in October of 2008.
We have not made any public statements on this. We've made no.
But that is yours from 1985, right?
This is in the possession of another person who ran the contest at that time. These are his remarks. So who knows what exactly they would mean, because he has things that contradict each other.
Yeah, but I only said that I would agree to have my score put on the unknown category if you had physical evidence of player's choice. You claimed you had physical evidence of player's choice. Now you're saying you're not, and this physical evidence is right here. That's what Robert Merzek said on the.
We don't want to argue that today, do we?
Roy, I think that you have to play, because there's going to be no argument done on this.
So you have no physical evidence of player's choice, is that correct?
We're not going to make any decision on or off. We're going to talk about it in terms of it being player's choice.
Well, I withdraw when I said I wanted my score put on the unknown category because you said you had physical evidence of player's choice. I am now officially withdrawing that statement because now you're saying that you have no physical evidence of player's choice.
I think that you have.
Is that correct? Is that correct?
I think that you have to do what you want to do.
Okay, all right. Don't worry, they won't get away with it. Here is the 1985 Twin Galaxies Missile Command Tournament Manual page, which Walt today says proves nothing. Now, believe it or not, they actually tried to use this as physical evidence of player's choice. But as you can see, fast cursor is crossed out, which shows that they certainly made the distinction between the two settings, fast and slow cursor, and intended not to use the fast. Now, you can see detailed explanation of this in Roy Shildt, Mr. Awesome Comic Book number 2, which will be out in the future. Now, here's the main problem. There are 4 missile command machines. There's a 4-inch trackball upright machine, and there's also a 2.5-inch trackball upright machine. Now, there's also a 2.5-inch trackball sit-down cocktail machine, which is the most popular for the 2.5-inch, but there's also a 4-inch trackball sit-down cockpit machine. Now, that's why the cursor settings were inadvertently switched in some later manuals. However, in every manual where both fast and slow cursor are printed together, here's an original manual. Original manual. When they're printed together, it is always slow cursor for the 4-inch trackball and fast cursor for the 2.5-inch trackball. Absolutely 100% certain. Let's take a look at the circled area. That red. When Walt today says who knows what the manuals meant, you have to assume that Walter may be back on drugs. When the missile command machines are physically played side by side, the 4-inch trackball plays on the slow cursor in percentage unison to the 2.5-inch trackball playing on the fast cursor. Absolutely 100% certain. Now, Tony Temple's 4.4 million point missile command score in the 2011 edition of the Guinness Book of World Records was played on the 4-inch trackball fast setting and is absolutely invalid officially by the manufacturer. Now, Jeff Blair's score in this book, the 1.8 score listed right under Temple's, was played on the correct 4-inch trackball slow cursor. Jeff Blair's score in this book is over 1 million points at 100 rounds, and he did not point leach. Jeff Blair is the missile command champion, not Tony Temple. And don't blame the Guinness Book of World Records because they can't screen everything Twin Galaxies sends them. However, if the International Video Game Hall of Fame in Ottumwa, Iowa, intending to put Tony Temple into their Hall of Fame for playing on the incorrect 4-inch trackball fast cursor on missile command, that's absolute dishonesty, and I call for an international boycott against them until they straighten that out. And Walter Day and Billy Mitchell need to be removed from their board of directors immediately. Now you can see more information on that at shockandawesome.com, and we'll be continuing this in part 2. Thank you.